Hello everyone, I am Karuna and I welcome you all to my channel. In the previous tutorial, we have learned about strings data type, and now with the help of this tutorial, I'll be explaining about different functions and methods that can be used on strings. So before we learn about the functions and methods, let me explain the immutability feature of string data types. You've already worked with so many data types without even knowing that they were immutable. So let's see what immutability is. In Python, strings are immutable, which means the elements or the characters of the strings cannot be modified, but it is possible to change the value of the string variable. That means you can assign a new value to the variable, but modification of individual elements of the string is not allowed. Let's see different immutable data types in Python. These are integer, float, strings, tuple, and also the Boolean data type. And the mutable data types, which we will be learning in my upcoming tutorials, are list, dictionaries, and sets. Let's learn about functions. We have already worked with print, int, ord, len, and type function. You can see the description of these functions in the slide given here. Now I'm going to explain the purpose of str and slice function. Str function converts the given value to string. So let's say if I create a variable n and I assign value 12 to it, so n contains an integer value, and now I write a variable v and assign strn to it, an integer value has been changed to string. Now you can see that the output shows number 12 in single quotes, which denotes that it is a string value. So using the type function, we can check the type of variable v. It says str, that means variable v contains a string type value. The str function can take float and integer as parameters, which will change the data type of the numbers or the floating point value to a string. Now number 12 will not behave like a number, rather it will behave like a string. So let's see how this will work. If I write v plus 4, that means I'm trying to add 4 to number 12. This returns an error which is a type error because 4 cannot be added to number 12, and we can concatenate only strings using the plus operator. If I try to add or concatenate an integer value, this will return into this error. Now let's say if I write v plus single quotes 4, that means I am trying to join or concatenate digit 4, which is a string type value right now, will be attached at the end of the value contained in variable v. So this is how concatenation operator works in Python. Next is slice function. It is similar to what we did in the previous tutorial, extracting some part of the string. So let's say if I create a variable a and I assign value Python 3.8 to it. Now to extract some characters from variable a, I'll write 1:7:2, which means I am trying to fetch characters from index 1 till index 6 with a step count of 2. So it returns letters Y, H, and N. Similar task can be performed with the help of slice function. So let's say if I write n equal to slice, in the bracket I can specify only stop value or start, stop, and step value. So I write here 1:7:2. Now this variable n now contains the slicing values which we will be performing on variable a. So this can be done by simply writing the variable n inside the square brackets, and you can see the same output is generated what we did with the colon operator in case of slicing. Now coming to the methods part, we have already seen how functions are used. There is a difference in the calling of methods and functions. So let's see what different methods are available for strings. The description of the functions is given in this slide. So let me give you a demonstration of these methods on various string values. So let's initialize a variable s with this word. All the letters you can see are in small. Now to use the method capitalize, I'll write the name of the object, which is s. So I'll write here s dot capitalize. After the dot operator, it also shows you the list of methods that can be performed on the objects of type string. So to use capitalize, I will use the spacebar key so that I get the name of the method there. And now I put the brackets for the method. This capitalize function will return the copy of the string with the first letter as capital. So now the answer returned by this method is exemplary with the first letter E as capital. Now, as I already mentioned that strings are immutable, so this capitalize method will not change what is contained in the variable originally. It just takes the value, performs the task and gives you the result. And let's see what is contained in variable s. So you can see it has not changed. So all these methods will perform on the value of the variable but does not change the original variable. Now we have count function. This function is used to count the occurrence of a particular letter or a substring in the given string. So this sub marks the substring, start and end marks the position from where I would like to search the string. Now let's say if I write E, this shows the number of times letter E occurs in the string S. Now let's say if I want to specify the index and search letter E in that particular range only. Now this statement will look for letter E in the range 1, 5. So in that range, letter E occurs only one time. So the answer is 1. Next we have find function. This function searches for a substring in the start and end range provided by this function. So if I write emp, this function returns the index from where this word was found in the string. So emp, this word was available in the string where letter E starts from index 2. So this function returns the starting index of the substring. You can also mention the start and the stop index. This will help you to look for a substring within that range only. So let's say if I write here capital EMP, again I have not mentioned start and stop, so this will look at the entire string. Because this word is not found in the original string, because letter E is in capital, so this function will return a negative value 1, which means the substring is not found. Next we have index. The syntax of index is almost similar to find. So if I perform the same task with index, this will also give me the starting index of the substring. But in case if I mention a substring which is not available in the original string like EMP, now this method raises a value error, which means substring not found. So this is a major difference between the find and the index method. Next we have lower method. This returns a string with all the letters changed to lowercase, but because my variable s contains all letters in lower, so does not make any change in the result here. Now we have the upper function, which will take the letters of variable s, change them into capital, and the answer you can see here. Now all these methods do not change my original variable. This you can cross check by writing the name of the variable. So all the letters of this variable are in small. They have not been changed by using the above methods. Now we have the other category of methods. All these return a true or a false value depending on the kind of data provided to it. So let's see how these methods work with string values. So here I define my string name with the value Python 3.8 assigned to it. Now let's say if I write name.isAlpha, this method returns a true value if all the characters of the variable name are of type alphabet, but because the string contains space as well as some integer values and special symbols. So this function will give me a false value. Now let's say if I write here d equal to Python and I write d dot is alpha, this will give me a true answer. Now what will happen if I assign a space also, as I showed in the first example? So here I'm writing Python space, this value is assigned to variable d, and I write d dot is alpha. This will give me a false value because space is not considered in the alphabet category. So all the characters must exist between the range capital A to Z or small a to Z. So now we have a variable v and I assign value 1, 2, 3 to it. Please note that this is a string value enclosed in single quotes. Now all these methods can be used with string values only. Now if I write v dot is digit, this will return a true value because all the characters contained inside the variable v are of type digits. So this returns a true value. The variable name, as I initialized above, contains Python 3.8, a combination of alphabets and special symbols. Now if I write name dot is alnum, this function should return a true value because it contains alphabets as well as numbers. But because of the space between Python and 3.8, it returns a false value. So if all the characters of the string are of type numbers or alphabets, this function will return a true value. Now isLower method will return a true value if all the letters of the string are in lowercase. Now you can see it returns false because of the integers and space, and the first letter is in capital. Let's say if I create another variable and I write g equal to good and I write g dot is upper, this will give me a true value because all the letters of variable g are in uppercase. And in the end, we have methods like split, partition, and replace. Split and partition almost work in a similar way. This small demonstration will definitely help you to work with split and partition function. Now, instead of assigning values to variables, I am writing the string directly like this. So this is my string, Python is amazing. And I can use a method by writing the dot operator and using the split function. You can see the definition of the function given here. It returns a list of words in the string. That means the output given by the split function will be showing the data in the square brackets, which denotes that it is a list. Now, by default, it separates the word with character space. So whenever it encounters a space, it splits the words and assign them as a different elements of the list. Why I'm saying list? Because in the output you can see square brackets in the beginning and in the end. So this is a list data type. Now all the words are in single quotes because they are of type string, and every word which was separated by a space has become an element of the list. Now let's write another example. I write here Python is amazing, just the way I have used above, and I write dot split, and in the bracket I'm going to write single quotes and then space. Now you can see the answer is same because writing space is not mandatory because split function by default splits the word whenever it encounters a space. So instead of writing this string again and again, I will assign it to a variable, and if I write s dot split, now I have written I in the bracket. Now you can see the letter I has been used to split. So the first time this letter I occurred in the string was in word is. So this split function splits the word at the occurrence of letter I. So in the output you can see I have got the first element as a Python space. This part becomes the first element of the list. After this, I is not included, and the next part is S space, and the characters before the occurrence of next letter I, and then after the second I am left with two letters, which is N and G, and that makes the last element of the list. Now let's understand the working of a partition function, which is almost similar to split function, as it gives you a part of the string, but this time the value returned by this partition function is of type tuple. So I am not writing anything in the brackets and I execute this statement. This will give me an error because partition function requires at least one argument, whereas in case of split function, if you do not mention anything, by default it considers space as the separator. So let's see the correct way of using this partition function. So in the bracket I am writing here single quotes space. So partition function splits the words at the first occurrence of the separator. There are three different parts in the result. The first part is the one which is coming before the separator. The next is the separator, and the last is the part which is coming after the separator. So inside the brackets I used space. The separator has also been a part of the output, which is not the case with the split function. Now in the variable s, you can see the first time this space occurred was created as the first element. The next is and then amazing. So the rest of the part becomes the next element of the tuple. It does not even check the next occurrence of space because the working of partition function is to split the words at the first occurrence of the separator. That means the space given here. So in the result you can see space has also been mentioned because it is a separator. Now there are a few differences between split and partition function as you have seen here. Split function can work without a separator. By default it is considering space, whereas in case of partition function you have to mention the space. Split function splits at every occurrence of the separator, whereas partition function splits at the first occurrence of the separator only. In the split function, what you get is the list of characters, different elements. Because of these square brackets, it is a list. Whereas in case of partition function, what we get is a data contained in the tuple data type. Next, we have replace method, which returns a copy of the string in which the old substring is replaced by a new substring. So if I write s.replace and I would like to change letter O to double O. So this is my old substring, which is this one. After the comma, I'm going to write the new substring, which I want in the result. So you can see the single letter O has now been replaced with double O. Now it's not necessary that the old substring has to be of one character only, because in Python, you know, a string can be of one character or multiple characters. So if I write s.replace in the bracket, this is my substring which is on, and then I would like to see ONO. So it replaces ON. These two characters when coming in group have been changed as ONO. Now this does not modify my original variable s, and we can store these values returned by these methods in some other variables and can work on it. Now that you have already worked with functions and methods, you must have understood the way they are invoked. So here is a list of differences between functions and methods. For a function, we do not need a class, whereas methods are always defined inside a class. And because functions do not become part of a class, they can be simply called on their own and are not linked with any object. But on the other hand, a method is always linked with an object of the class in which it is defined. To invoke a function, we can simply write its name like print, type, len, str, etc. But for a method, we should always use the object followed by dot operator and the name of the method. Functions always operate on the data which is passed to them as argument or parameter, whereas in case of methods, it's the data of the object which has been used to invoke the method. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. The link for the worksheet can be found in the description box. If you have any doubts related to the concepts explained here, please feel free to mention in the comment section and I would be happy to help you. If you like the video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for latest updates. Till then, keep working with smile.